Vitaly had inspected the cargo and had been surprised to find the truck stripped of all identification codes, right down to the one on the engine. While such a task wasn't particularly complicated, and neither did it require a mechanic, something told Vitaly that his charters hadn't done the work themselves. So they'd come here, bought a GAZ in good condition, paid someone handsomely to strip it, then hired a private charter. Plenty of money to spread around and overly concerned with anonymity. What did that mean? But there was no point in being too curious. Smart cats knew the danger of curiosity, and he liked to think he was smart enough. The Euros would also take care of his memory, something in which his party seemed supremely confident. The leader of the group, clearly of Mediterranean descent, had told Vitaly to call him Fred. It wasn't so much an artifice as it was a moniker of convenience, almost a private joke between them, and Fred's smirk during their initial meeting had confirmed it. He watched his charter party come aboard and wave at him, and with that done, he signaled to Vanya, his engineer deckhand who cast off the lines. Vitaly started the diesel engines and pulled away from the dock. Soon enough, he was in the fairway and headed out to sea. The black water didn't exactly beckon, but it was where he and the boat belonged, and it felt good to be heading back out. All he needed to make the morning perfect was a tranquilizer, and that Vitaly handled with an American Marlboro Lights 100 cigarette. And then, the morning was perfect. The local fishing fleet had already cleared the harbor. Such dreadful hours they were. And the water was clear for easy navigation, with only a slight chopping breaking on the marker buoys. As he passed the breakwater, he turned to starboard and headed east. Per his instructions, Adnan had kept his team small, himself and 3 others that he trusted implicitly. Just enough bodies to do the heavy lifting, but not enough to present a problem when the inevitable conclusion to their mission arrived. He didn't mind that part of it, actually. He would, after all, suffer the same general fate as his compatriots. A sad necessity, he thought. No, his biggest worry was that they might fail. Failure here would undoubtedly have a resonant effect on the larger operation, whatever that might be, and Adnan would do everything in his power to make sure that didn't happen. His life. Adnan smiled at the notion. Non-believers saw all this, trees and water and material possessions, as life. Nor was life defined by what you ate and drank and defiled with your bodily lusts. The time you spend on this earth is but preparation for what comes after, and if you are devout and obedient to the one true God, your reward will be glorious beyond imagining. What was less certain, Adnan realized, was his fate should he succeed here. Would he be given greater missions, or would his silence be more valuable to the Jihad? He would prefer the former, if only to continue serving Allah. But if the latter was to be his destiny, then so be it. He would meet either outcome with the same equanimity, confident he'd live this earthly life as best he could. Whatever was to come, he thought, was in the future, and he would let that worry about itself. In the here and now, he had a job to do, an important one, though he wasn't sure how exactly it fit into the larger picture. That was for wiser minds. They had arrived at the fishing village the day before, after parting company with the driver who was to deliver their truck to the docks and into the hands of the charter captain they had hired. The village was largely abandoned, most of its occupants having moved on after the waters had gone barren from years of overfishing. What few villagers remained kept to themselves, scraping by as best they could as autumn moved toward winter. Adnan and his men, bundled in parkas and their faces covered in scarves against